June planner pages in my new A5 dotted grid bullet journal. If you are also planning your planner pages, enjoy this lovely company as I talk through what I will be doing for my June cover page. What I'm going to actually be doing is recreating a cover page that I did back in May of 2018. So this was my January 2018, June 2018 Leuchtturm1917 bullet journal, dotted one. And in order to reduce that decision fatigue, instead of trying to figure out what sort of thing to create from scratch, I'm going to shop my own planner pages from way back when. So then that way I don't have to try and search through Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube to get inspiration and just get the creative juices flowing again. This is what I'm going to be recreating for the month of June 2026. Now I have already penciled in this to start with, so you can see I have penciled in. Now here's a little trick. Because this Leuchtturm 1917 dotted journal is 80 GSM, it is a little bit thinner, and which means you can see the outline of other pages. So what I did is I just grabbed the page, lined it up, and used my handy dandy mechanical pencil and just did an outline. And then the same thing with this one here. So what I'm going to do is on here, I'm going to have the June heading with a cute little young girl holding up a June sign, and here on the left hand side I'm going to have the calendar. All right, so I'm just going to use a felt tip pen. So this one is from Hand Lettering Design that was gifted to me by one of you lovely plannerettes. Instead of just a simple rectangle, you can just create sort of like a wonky little rectangular shape. So we need to make sure we infuse fun, play, make a mess. You know how when little toddlers, they're allowed to, when they're doing finger painting, they're just making a mess. They are mixing all the colors together, but in actual fact, that is part of learning, allowing yourself flexibility to be creative and messy at times. And that is when new ideas pop up. June starts on a Monday, so let me just write this down, or else I know I am going to write the numbers wrong. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. There's my little calendar. And then my lovely little lady here. This little drawing was inspired by Inslee by Design. So she's holding a little sign here. Okay, now the reason I think I did this drawing and was inspired to do this drawing way back when was I had hunter boots. So these rain boots, and I bought it online or delivered all the way from the UK. So they say the hunter boots are the same rain boots that Queen Elizabeth and all these fancy schmancy posh people use. I got them, but I made a mistake of leaving it in the laundry. So then of course the heat, it wasn't good for the rubber of the boots. All right, so I'm just using for the legs and the boots a much thinner felt tip pen, so then that way I can get to the details. The other thing, if you are not artistically inclined, if you have an iPad, you can use that sort of like as a tracing light box. You just want to make sure, if you are, of course, a content creator and share things online like I am, that you give credit back to the original artist. Oh, she's looking so cute. So then the next thing I want to do is to create the shadows of the pleats. So I'm just going to use N95. This N95 is actually running out of ink, which is fine because then won't be too dark. And then I'm just creating where the natural shadow would fall in the pleats of the skirt. So it doesn't have to be too precise. And that one, there's sort of like a fold in that. And then here, and then at the edges, I think that's it. And maybe some here. That looks cute. And then I'm going to color in her tights. Maybe I'll use the thinner, so then I can get really in between these stripes on her tights. I remember I took someone's drawing and doodling challenge, and then he said, when it comes to drawing, try not to draw what you think the image will be. So if it's a book, don't try and draw a book, just look at the shapes. So, rectangles, squares. So these ones technically are just tiny little rectangles rather than trying to draw tight. So whichever shape you see, just recreate that. I'm going to let that dry and then take my N95 and then create some shadows on the tights so it doesn't look as flat as that. Now the next thing I've got here is, I can't remember which one this is, maybe asparagus. The number came off it. So my hunter boots was sort of like army green. So that's why back in May of 2018, when I drew her, I had the boots, the rain boots, as army green. So the little labels, that's where normally the hunter label will go. I'm going to leave that as white. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going over the colors again, and the edges of the boots I'm just going over to make that contrast, so make it a little bit darker so then it doesn't look as flat, and on here as well. See how the difference? So this one is just one layering. Oh, that looks nice. That she's looking good. All right, so hopefully this is dried already. I'm going to use the gray. So see how the tights at the moment is looking very flat. So if I just add a little bit of gray shadows on the edges of the legs, so then it looks like it's a rounded legs rather than just flat legs. And then of course also underneath the skirt there would be shadow. Will I wreck it? Will I wreck it? Just very lightly. So sometimes this is when any markers you may have that is, running out of ink will be great. Okay, now the June. So light stroke going up, down stroke you have to press harder on the brush tip marker. So this one is the Tombow for the Nosoke in the black barrel. So see how there's a difference there. So the black barreled Tombow for the Nosoke one is a softer brush tip. The blue one, the bristle is a little bit harder. So which means the black one will be a lot more flexible, and then the blue one not so much. And down strokes and up stroke. And then you lift. And then if there is a bit there it's not joining, you just fill that in. And down strokes and up strokes, lift. Down strokes and up and down. So that one's called a compound. And down and up. And then and down and up. Yay! And the dot, I'm just going to use my brush tip on its side and make a heart. Aww, that looks so cute. So let's cover this up and we will see. Okay, so daubers. Okay, let's see. Dab, 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 dab. Dab, 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 dab. And I'm just using the sticky note to not dab color into that rectangle. So I'm just using that to stop it. Dab, 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 dab. Okay, so if you want a nice subtle color, you can do this with some stamp. And then of course you can just build that up. Okay, let's do some here. This is fun. And this is what I think I had been needing. Just some fun. And look at that. It's very subtle, right? Very subtle. So just use a little post-it note, have this sticky bit towards the edge and just move that around. So then you're not stamping on the area you don't want to stamp. Whoa, very subtle, huh? I love that. What do you think? If you're enjoying this, just creating a nice halo haze effect around my June calendar. And then on the other side, this one is inside. I'm going to do the pink on the inside. She's looking good. What do you think?